Researchers have found a star that is floating so desolate through the universe, once more, that it shouldn't really exist. NASA is confronted with a secret. How should a single star structure in a district that is so unfriendly to life that it looks like a natural ice desert? Are we managing a regular peculiarity here, or is this star the aftereffect of the movement of, in fact, outsiders? CX 330 is most certainly the loneliest star in our system, about 30,000 light-years from Earth. It floats alone in an enormous district where there is not a solitary other star. The closest star-forming districts are so distant from this forlorn spot that researchers are perplexed concerning how CX 330 came to be in this distant district. The significant questions that researchers presently need to answer are whether CX 330 was formed in place or whether it was flung into this desolate district by some at this point unexplained means. A few hypotheses even propose that CX 330 is certainly not a genuine star by any means but a peculiarity in the universe. If this unusual hypothesis were to be affirmed, once more, we could be managing a peculiarity that challenges the laws of our current physics. It's a well-known fact that stars generally form in thick billows of gas and residue. There, they are typically not conceived alone. Enormous gas and residue mists, like the Pillars of Creation or the Orion Cloud, are true star factories in which hundreds or even thousands of new stars are conceived. Planets, moons, and other objects like those in our local planet group are also formed in the residue circles around the youthful, gleaming fireballs. Observations of these star-forming locales have so far revealed a great deal about how stars form. However, the presence of CX 330 now turns past cosmic suppositions about star formation on their head. Strangely, it is a bright source in an otherwise passive district. It sounds a bit like something out of a science fiction novel. During a normal assessment of an otherwise idle locale in the universe, researchers out of nowhere noticed an oddly bright source of radiation. This discovery was made in 2016 with the assistance of the Chandra X-ray Observatory. This telescope, which is in Earth's orbit, doesn't detect visible or infrared light like Hubble or Webb but X-rays. With the help of this technology, researchers are revealing peculiarities in the universe that are not apparent in the desolate region of our Milky Way. Researchers were searching for remarkable peculiarities, secret in the darkness of this void, but no one had expected to track down a star here at first. However, it was not clear exactly what the new discovery was. The X-ray spectrum didn't immediately reveal whether the object was a star, a galaxy, or even a black hole. Just more exact examinations with other telescopes confirmed the unbelievable revelation. The simple truth of finding a single star in such a distant district seemed like a marvel. But what's more, the fact that the star was in a fast development stage made it furthermore remarkable. Researchers came to this conclusion because CX 330 produces a peculiarly huge amount of energy, especially as X-rays. With this second discovery, it immediately became clear that CX 330 was in an early stage of its development. Researchers first made sense of the presence of the star with a wide range of hypotheses. Maybe the star had moved to this desolate locale, or a high-energy event had slung the star into this district. The discovery of CX 330 raised many questions. The outrageous development pace of CX 330 quickly refuted these clarifications. The super X-beam radiation brought up a lot more issues. How should this star structure in such detachment? What conditions permit stars to shape outside the typical star-shaping areas? Dispersed stars like CX 330 can uncover totally new parts of star arrangement. For example, this one could demonstrate that stars can likewise frame in disconnected void districts. This would imply that the cycles that lead to an iridescent and enormous fireball like a star are additionally conceivable away from the normal billows of gas and dust. The inquiry remains whether CX 330 was framed from other structure blocks and whether previously unknown types of matter can prompt star development. Relocation of youthful stars. Imagine that a youthful star, which has just formed at the focal point of a gigantic group of hydrogen gas and residue, is torn from its environmental factors and heaved into another piece of the system. Researchers have now demonstrated that youthful stars can likewise move. More seasoned stars that relocate are not exceptional in the universe. However, scientists previously assumed that youthful stars couldn't relocate at first. Movement was thusly precluded in the instance of CX 330. But then, scientists demonstrated that a youthful star like this one could have relocated to this far-off district. It might have initially been brought into being in a normal star-shaping area and was later catapulted from its original climate by strange cosmic developments or gravitational impacts. Situations of this sort are epic. The forces that can launch a youthful star out of a star-shaping locale and into quite possibly of the most far-off locales of the Milky Way are unbelievable. Only events, for example, a cosmic crash or monstrous connections with other celestial bodies, could release such powers. For instance, when two cosmic systems converge, as is expected to occur with the Milky Way and Andromeda in billions of years, stars could be torn from their original orbits and heaved into disengaged districts. The passage of a monstrous black hole through a district of stars could likewise create outrageous gravitational sling developments that drive youthful stars like CX 330 to far-off areas. A star conceived out of nothing. Did you know that stars are just residue and gas that have been compacted to an outrageous degree? Another speculation surrounding the puzzling presence of CX 330 is that its ongoing area has surprising conditions. A surprisingly thick gas cloud can consolidate into a star even without the typical infinite residue. This is apparently how the first stars in the universe were shaped, well before the first heavenly Goliaths made vast residue through blasts. Stars likely formed just from gas and tension. The rapid development pace of CX 330 could be an indication that this star functions in a comparable way to the first stars in the universe. If so, the discovery would be a significantly greater find for researchers, as CX 330 would empower them to reproduce the development of stars in the beginning of the universe. Other hypotheses propose CX 330 could be a remnant from a distant memory star-forming district where there is presently outright vacancy. There could have once been a rich heavenly processing plant. Over billions of years, stars were born and died. At some point, the components in the district were spent, and CX 330 formed as the last star in this district. Then it truly would be one of the loneliest stars in the entire system. Besides, researchers estimate that the curiously strong energy yield and bizarrely high X-ray radiation don't necessarily indicate development at all. The two impacts could also arise from different cycles. Then this star probably won't be a youthful star by any means, but an interesting introvert that can provide our researchers with new insights about the universe. Is CX 330 an extraterrestrial power station? It is truly astounding that a captivating hypothesis from the 1960s continues to emerge whenever peculiarities in the universe can't be completely explained. CX 330 is a mystery, and so far, it's not clear whether any of the explanations previously proposed can make sense of the star's presence. Some scientists, therefore, refer to a Dyson sphere to explain CX 330 and the surprising radiation. Dyson spheres are massive power plants that outsiders might work around stars. The hypothesis comes from Nikolai Kardashev, who, during the 1960s, declared that it's likely that many extremely advanced species in the universe exist. The most evolved creatures on his scale extract energy from stars and entire galaxies. In theory, such power plants could obscure whole areas in space. CX 330 could be something like the center of a massive power plant in the universe. The district in which the star was found would then not be vacant, but just so changed that we can't distinguish the matter within it. That sounds crazy, but it's theoretically possible. Voids in the loneliest locales of the universe. Sometimes researchers conjecture that even voids are really massive extraterrestrial power plants. These predominantly void areas of the universe can't be explained otherwise. In a generally homogeneous universe, these voids shouldn't really exist, but they are there. Voids are much larger compared to the space in which CX 330 was found. They form voids of several million and billions of light-years in diameter. The universe is an interesting organization of structures, galaxies, galaxy groups, and massive fibers of dark matter mismatch the universe and together form what is known as the large web. This organization is fairly predictable. Researchers can estimate the distribution of matter using statistics and probabilities. The structure shows a consistency that, rigorously speaking, could be traced back to the Big Bang. The problem here is the voids between the great designs of matter. There are immense, almost unfilled spaces that oppose the previous organization of matter. They shouldn't exist, and they challenge the idea that matter is evenly distributed throughout the universe. Essentially, voids even test the possibility of the Big Bang and its expansion. If the old thoughts of researchers are right, then the material design of the universe today is practically indistinguishable from that shortly after the Big Bang. Anyway, these voids don't fit into this image. There is no logical or mathematical answer for their existence as colossal circular and curved void spaces in the universe. They are a question mark in the vast puzzle. Inside these voids, there are only a few galaxies, and the density of matter is ultimately about 90% lower than in the rest of the universe. So voids are not completely empty, and this fact makes them more baffling than if they were entirely void. While in thick areas of the grandiose web, many worlds are connected in groups and fibers, in voids, a couple of galaxies float in a nearly yawning vacancy. Voids provide clues to previously unknown gravitational forces of massive designs. Matter could contract in dense regions, while voids are swollen and appear empty due to the absence of gravitational binding. The desolate worlds inside the voids look like the desolate star CX 330. With voids, it would also be unlikely to view a star like CX 330 because the conditions for star formation, like gas and dust, are completely absent. Nonetheless, individual galaxies do exist in voids, and they likely formed under similarly strange conditions as the solitary star CX 330. The two phenomena raise questions about the nature of matter and stars in such desolate areas of the universe. Some of the galaxies in the voids also have properties that clearly distinguish them from other galaxies. In addition to strangely large galaxies, researchers have also found so-called ultra-diffuse galaxies in voids. Despite their enormous size, such galaxies contain very little visible matter.